It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
How you guys doing today, man?
Thank you. Very good, very good.
Very good. You change your accent on me in the interview?
I always change accent.
So I read the bio. You lived in many places. What was that like?
I was a war child, man, and a lot of things happened. I was. It was a lot of culture shock.
Okay.
And we had, long story short, I was born and raised in the Philippines until I was 9, living from the beach and then straight to Manila, which is like, the Compton, the Philippines, and I'm sleeping next to my 6 cousins on the floor. We were lucky to have 2 meals a day if we were lucky.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I'm in Saudi Arabia. I'm going to school with sons and daughters of doctors and mechanical engineers, and just a very elite society, and I had to adapt to that. And then 4 years later, I'm in France, and first of all, you're not allowed to see any skin in Saudi or Kuwait.
Oh.
And through puberty at 12, moving to France.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, I was naked. I'm like, okay, that's gonna really mess me up as a child.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
Yeah. Okay. Did it help with your influences, like musical influences?
My step-pops listened to a lot of Van Halen, a lot of Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
But my real dad, he was a working musician. He still is. He's a lounge lizard. He's somewhere around the world. I think he's in Vietnam now. But
Okay.
he switches.
You guys stay in touch?
Oh yeah. We
Oh,
stay in
okay.
touch. He calls me dad. I call him son.
You guys have to mix up a little bit.
Yeah. So if I'm Baby Yoda, he's not who he is.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's this is Genesis Z
Yeah.
and the Black Mambas.
That's right.
So I want the story behind the name. The whole Genesis, and you can introduce the guys.
Okay. Well, there's 2 avenues I could explain that with. I wanted to find something ridiculous. A ridiculous name that will stick, that will be unpredictable, that will make people think, that will make people wonder, what the hell is that? Black Mambas. Who do they think they is? Black Mambas. But the other reason is I'm a huge Tarantino fan.
Okay.
And there's a scene in there with the Black Mamba. You open the suitcase, the Black Mamba comes out. So that's how I see these guys. I don't want to get too close because they'll kill me.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, we were just contemplating that right now. Hi, I'm Dustin Armando Manucci.
#1 hitman.
Great on the guitar.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
This is Greg, aka Red.
Red. Greg, but everyone calls me Red.
Yeah.
Yep. Bass guitar.
Lucky.
Okay.
And he's very
Excuse me.
unknown on the real name. I don't know how you want to take care of that, but
Lucky, aka Beats Unknown.
okay.
Beats Unknown.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And we have the Godfather that's missing, and
Okay.
he's at home washing his awesome suit. I usually say tights, but he's cool, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say
Except for
awesome
washing the
suit.
suit.
Okay.
Jeff Giordano.
Jeff Giordano, yeah.
Jeff Giordano. He's our
AKA Chemist. He's the
our
man.
guitar player. Call him Gio.
Geoff.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
Gia.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
G-E-O-F-F.
Not Jeff, Geoff.
I want
We
to
call him
see.
Gio.
I want to see the concert. I gotta see you guys on stage.
We miss you, big guy.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
see you.
Jeff. Yeah. He's our big Italian Tony Soprano Godfather guy.
Okay.
He doesn't say much, but when
Great
he
guitar
does,
player. Wonderful
Oh,
song.
It's usually because he's yelling at me and Jesus.
people thought he was a band leader at one point. He still is.
Okay.
He's an appointed band leader. But everyone's a band leader at some point, depending what we're doing. If we're cooking omelets or in the kitchen, this guy's the band leader.
I mean, I'm a good cook.
You don't want me to
Okay. All right. But
Can you microwave
I want to
that?
see this chemistry on stage sometime.
Okay.
So when this thing is over,
This pandemic.
this thing we have going on.
Yeah. God bless everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. I want to talk about the single, but not yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about the record.
Okay.
Talk about the record and what the concept is, and you know, what's the vision of this whole thing?
I think Ken said it best when he called it night music.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
called it night music. This is
Yeah.
nighttime music, and that is a very general way of describing it. But I tell everybody it's a very good mix of pop elements, funk elements, rock elements, all kind of tied together into this great kind of genre-free record that many people can vibe to and connect to on multiple levels. So that's how I would.
I like
describe
that,
it.
genre-free. You know, let me write that down.
So
You ever heard that term before, genre-free?
It's not all our elements, we're all
I
such different
know.
people, but
Yeah.
it's- we're the same at the same.
And really that is a culmination of really the different parts of the group, the different band members. You know, I personally, just speaking for myself, come from a long history of rock and heavy metal music. Been doing that, playing in bars since I was 18. And kind of having the ability myself to go into another genre, depending on if it's just a different song or a different feel for the record altogether, and being able to adapt like that is something that really makes the band unique. But also still kind of bringing that old rock vibe into a funk song, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's gonna have that grit, but still I'm playing that funk bass line, you know?
Okay.
And then locking in with my hip hop drummer over there, Lucky, my man, top 5.
Okay.
You know, and then Dustin, phenomenal shred guitar player.
That's really a gun.
And an awesome classical music enthusiast.
Okay.
You know, and then Genesis, man, he's just raw power. You know. All the way around.
So who put all of this together? Like, you know.
Definitely, yeah,
This
definitely
guy.
Genesis. Maybe Yoda, man.
We're all pointing at each other.
This guy.
Yeah. I think ultimately it was something that we all brought together naturally, just because we have known each other through various circles and primarily being the circle of music and playing out in the same scene together. And I think it was just the right choice, you know, when we finally all said, you know what, I need this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. These Avengers.
You're cool.
You know what I mean?
She's not. I'm out.
You know.
That's not Lauren Hill you spoke about, right? Yeah.
That's so, just a real.
So just to go a little spiritual, so you guys are all cornerstones coming together.
Yes. Yes.
Totally.
That's what I
I
noticed.
feel you. I feel
Absolutely.
you. I feel
You know, like a Suicide Squad. You ever seen like the comic book?
It's really, that's actually the best way to describe it.
He's got to go grab the misfits. So
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
grab this
Yeah.
misfit because I know he know what he's doing. Let me go grab this guy because I know he
the
know.
Only
what he's
missing is my pad shy, so
Oh, you
I gotta work on that.
Nick
Okay.
Fury.
All right. So I saw, okay, the working title you have is Exceler. I mean, you guys gonna keep that title? As the project?
We were gonna, when we first got together with the label, it was originally gonna be the new album, Elixir.
Mhm.
And
Oh, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Caribbean.
Wait, in
We go in,
Filipino,
you
that's
know?
what we, Elixir, in the Filipinos, Elixir. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's yeah, you gotta work on that. We'll work
I
on
gotta
that.
work on that. in the pad shy.
S-H-I-T.
But yeah, that album was supposed to be a healing album, and Carnivore was this you know, I have crazy stories about Carnivore. I basically was inspired by some tragedies about that album, and when I made the album, life imitated art again. So I was really scared to repeat that, and I told myself I'm never gonna. The next album is gonna be something positive.
Okay.
So, serendipity-wise, when we got signed, the label wanted us to do Carnivore. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So now that old record, we kept half of it because half of that was me in LA. Since I moved here and found these crazy guys, I wanted to represent the now.
Okay.
And it's been an amazing, magical chemistry in the studio, and I'm glad we made that move. And Carnivore is the album, and there's 6-7 new songs in it.
Okay.
And maybe this is not being objective, but we feel almost every song up there on the album is a single. but we don't want to be in that mentality of like, let's just make money. Let's make sure this is true art.
Okay.
And by putting a well-balanced songs of substance and some personal experiences, you know. So.
Okay. Is there a release date for the?
Yeah, June 5th is a release date for Carnivore featuring Redman.
Oh, the single.
The single.
Okay.
And the record will be, I believe, July. Don't have to be announced on the date wise, but July is what we're shooting for.
Okay, so we have a record.
Yeah, the whole record.
Coming down the pipes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Redman, Genesis in the building.
When I say that.
So let's talk about Carnivore. Carnivore.
I want to go to Carnival.
It
It wasn't going to be called Carnival.
It's funny
That's not
because
what
there's a
inspired
vegan
me.
in the band. I'm a vegan.
You're vegan?
Yes.
Oh, man.
It's funny.
Yeah, so in the video we have Dustin's face. He's no vegan, full, so his face pops up every time. Totally kidding.
Okay, so we know Redman is on the record, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking Redman might have been the
push.
you're right. So what was it like getting that record together?
Oh boy.
And then how does Redman come into the picture?
Wow. I was in the band called D5 Stro or Destro. We were a trio, and our drummer Dion played for Wu-Tang, and that's how I met Redman, because Redman's a part of that crew. And he called me one day and told me, Redman's coming over your house. And I paused. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. So.
Was there any smoking involved? Or?
We don't
PG
do
show,
that.
The PG, yeah.
No comments.
All right.
There was an octopus bong, and we.
It was a smoke machine.
No,
What happened to the smoke? But
Yeah.
that's all right.
Well, I worked with a lot of people. I was in the production crew named Lab Rats, and we worked with some household names like Busta Rhymes. And the thing is, a lot of celebrities are not the same people when you meet them in person.
Slow down. You
Yeah.
said lab rats.
Lab Rats.
Okay.
It's a weird name.
What year
This
span?
is 2002 to 2009. We're just a production crew in LA.
Okay.
It wasn't. We weren't a band or anything.
No. I'm
Yeah.
because I knew a couple of the production. When you say Wu-Tang,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I know a couple of the '90s things. I was like, okay, I remember hearing lab rats.
There's a lot of Lab Rats. That's the
But,
problem. We looked it up on the internet. There's like 10 Lab Rat production crews, so it's really confusing. But make a long story short, I met Busta, and completely different person. But when I met Redman, I mean, since day one in the '90s, I've been a fan of this dude. Especially when I saw him on Cribs, when they showed his fridge and it was just a ketchup bottle.
Didn't he have like
I was
monkey
an instant fan.
Greatest episode.
When I
of
saw
the
that, I was already a fan, mind
Yeah,
you.
but
When I saw it, I'm like, this is my dude. So I kind of believed that he was gonna come over to my house.
Okay,
You know.
okay.
So he rolled up in a Honda, and I'm sure he's got nicer cars, but he's humble as hell, and just a fun dude, amazing fellow. And one defining moment was he said, "We're colleagues, man. Don't talk to me that way. We're cool. We're equals." Because I was kind of like,
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
a fan. You're
I'm a
like,
fan, man.
I mean, Redman shows
Yeah,
up
shit,
at
you're in my living room.
Hello,
I mean,
Mr.
That don't happen
How are
every day, you know?
Yeah.
Can I get you a glass of water?
Yeah, and he,
Take a seat.
I was such a fan. Even like I call him, I was such a fan. I subconsciously named my dog Reggie Noble. And he goes, you know, and I just realized when he walked in my crib, I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know my dog's name.
You have a shrine on
It was,
the wall.
it was like, Reggie. But anyway, I got connected with him through Dion, the drummer of Wu-Tang, and we had a 3-film music video deal with Universal about 5 years ago. It went south. Don't have to go into the details. Some things, I think I just wasn't spiritually ready and psychologically ready then, and I didn't have the right circle back then. I had the right band. I didn't have the right management team back then. And the irony of all this, I go to LA to try to make it. I come back home. It's exponentially just 10 times better here. I think it's like, it's about privacy. Like if you had a NASCAR, you want to enter the Indy 500, you don't want to be where the action is at because you're going to get distracted. You want to be in a quiet garage before the race. And this is the same kind of opportunity I see in this band.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good story.
Thank you.
I mean, it's true. I'm just saying.
I'm going too fast.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of putting it had like when I listened to it, I heard a little bit of Prince in there.
Oh.
I heard a little bit. I heard, you know.
When? Oh, in the song?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Carnivore.
Carnivore.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it does have the rock elements to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you were thinking about it, but I kind of like felt like okay.
Yeah.
There's some like a little bit of Prince.
Yeah, you might hear a little Prince type vibe. You
Yeah,
might hear a little
yeah,
bit of
everything.
Hendrix type vibe.
Yeah.
You might hear a little country type of influence in there. You might hear some hip hop in there.
So we talking about the record or the album?
Oh,
Yeah.
as a whole.
Oh,
as a whole,
Yeah,
yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah.
These guys are like Dragon Ball Z, right? They're talking about Carnivore. They jump back into the album. Okay, so we're back to the album now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let me know where we go.
even in the record Carnivore, you know, again, the country influence. I could go into detail about some of those riffs, but no worries, you know. And that's why you see this soup, this America blend. You know what I mean? You can't forget this. I call him Stillwater. That's my nickname for him. It's like that's our blues. That's our gunslinger. You know, so you catch that influence in there as a musician. You hear that a little bit in this record. So you know, go back and listen to it again.
I'll check it out again. I have no choice now, right? I'm sucked in.
Yeah, that's for everybody, not just you. You know, go back.
I feel you on
if
the
you heard
Prince influence. I would probably put it like kind of like the record Controversy. Kind of has a controversy vibe. If you kind of look at the 2 tracks,
That's
You know, when I said
That's-
Prince, it wasn't like a whole Prince record.
Right.
But I'm just saying,
Right.
you know, I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of
Right.
felt a little like, oh,
Yeah,
I hear
no,
a little
that being
Prince
said,
in
though,
it.
I can kind of feel the Prince in that song. too.
Yeah,
Totally.
Just the energy, not the, you know.
Yeah, it's the energy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, let's talk about some of your influences, and you guys can mix it up. You know, I don't know who want to start, you want to go, you or-
I'll go. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
He's the chef. Yeah.
So probably one of the biggest influences on my musical career was, like I said, I came up through a lot of rock and heavy metal music initially. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, Van Halen, Black Sabbath, that kind of thing is where I
It's like the
really,
early 80s, late
Yeah.
70s.
that's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that's where I began a lot of my musical journey. But also coming from a big background in classical music from my father.
Okay.
My father's a classically trained guitarist. He got a degree in performance from Peabody. So he introduced me to a lot of classical music over the years. I did classical violin and piano in my younger years. But by the time I was about 12, 13, 14, I started to branch off into other things. I got into a lot of hip hop music. I listened to Exhibit, Dr. Dre, Biggie Smalls, Snoop Dogg, everything that was just among that era.
Okay.
And I also started to go into funk music. So Rick James was a huge influence. He's why I picked up bass before I actually picked up the guitar, because I liked those funky bass lines. Cool and the Gang as well. You know, so I love Cool's bass playing on a lot of those records and the feel of the music that they have. So just a nice mix of things that has brought me to where I am today. But
You probably like the Family Man too from the Whalers. I think he likes the Family Man. Well, we'll talk about it after.
We'll talk about it.
I don't know. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm right though, right? I'm right. I have a feeling that the Family Man.
You know that.
Okay, so you have a wide range of influences.
So my biggest influence, especially when I was younger, was Yngwie Malmsteen, who's a Swedish shred guitar virtuoso. So I got really heavily into like a lot of the virtuosity, and I love also heavy metal. I was really influenced by the British new wave of heavy metal, like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, all those guys. Really early Def Leppard, like the first two records are awesome.
Okay.
And I love classical music, like adored. Actually, me and Greg go see symphonies a lot when the stuff was open.
Classical keeps popping up here.
Mozart was a huge. I absolutely love everything
It's
Mozart.
not really a new type of classical, like Joe Hart classical music.
Joe.
No?
That won't work out. I don't even know.
I tried.
Sure. You tried. You tried. Good. Good effort.
I stand.
But really, I had to learn like everything. I played in pop bands. I played in everything. We have a blend of literally everything. Billy Idol, Steve Stevens was huge. All those percussion, all those like syncopated lines. Out of Miola.
Just Bruce Lee the whole thing. Like,
And then I have to shout him out, man. Like Chris Gordon, really, who was like a father figure to me, and he literally shaped my playing.
Okay.
Like when we,
All right.
So Chris, hello.
For me, well, first and foremost, hip hop, Premier. I'm originally from Detroit, so Detroit at the time, early '80s had a West Coast type of swing. You might have heard a couple of records. By the time I got to the East Coast, Premier, as a drummer, my father was a drummer. I needed that swing, and I immediately catered to it. My brother's 7 years older than me. He was a DJ, so that caught my ear. And then being raised in the church, John P. Key's drummer, Hezekiah Walker's drummer. I can't think of everybody's name off the top of my head right now, but heavily influenced from church. Grew up in the church. And then in my rebel side,
The rebel side?
yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
the rebel side.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah, I didn't own a drum set in my, when we first moved to Delaware, so I had to go up the street to a friend of mine named Josh Neves. And Josh Neves liked Metallica, Def Leppard, Anthrax, anything that he could get his hands on that was rock and roll, I had to play along. So I've always had this on tuck, but I never had to pull it out nowhere, Mint Condition.
Yeah, nice.
Bob Marley's drummer is sick, so I got this eclectic type
Whalers
of...
are popping up in
Yeah. And then in school, I also did the orchestra thing, marching band. I didn't really like their structure, because again, I'm, slightly a rebel somewhere in there, But I've got an eclectic base of music, and I think as a drummer, I'm allowed to say that there's no genre if I can call myself a drummer. I kind of
you got to keep it time.
Correct. So this was the perfect opportunity.
How long is this unit together?
Less than a year, really.
No, well, for you, I think Lucky was the last piece that came in. Probably.
But me and G have been playing together for a long time now.
There's at least 4 lineups of the Mambas. It started 4 years ago,
Okay.
and members were going in and out, and I realized that old expression, sometimes happiness is right under your nose, you know? You don't have to look too far. So I started realizing, wait a minute, the guys I'm hanging out with after working, you know, stage job or show, I'm next to Dustin or Greg, or I'm chilling with Lucky at his other band's house. And I'm thought to myself, you know what? Let me choose attitude versus ability and talent. Let me choose a horizon and see how this works out. And it worked like, it worked so fast. And Lucky said the other day, this is the most organized band and unorganized band I've ever been in. So I don't understand.
It happens with the cornerstones, you know,
Yeah,
like you're in all types of different things and it's not working out and
Yeah.
this is, you know, all kinds of stuff happen and then you just find that right.
Everybody has the proper work ethic.
Yeah, I think the main thing is the ego thing. We leave the ego outside the locker room, and we treat it like it's like it's a film job, like any huge magnitude job. If you put your ego in it, it's literally not just affecting the person you're talking to, the whole crew. You know, this is for the culture. This is beyond me or us, and you know, this is something that we have to look back on and say, you know what, we did it right, or we didn't do it right.
I think you're doing it right. The vibe feels
Well,
good. You know.
It's a daily thing. But so far, so good, right?
Yeah, and I've known Genesis for a few years, but only finally about a year and some change ago started getting into the band with him and started playing with him regularly. Yeah, we were always friends. It was always, great, come out to the show, man. I'm playing this show at this place. Cool, awesome, I'm there. And then we're the ones hanging out afterward and everything, while usually the other band just goes home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rest of the band just goes home, and I'm hanging out with Genesis, having fun and talking music, you know. But we found a lot of parallels between each other in that way. So it's, you know, there's a lot of serendipity with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Genesis met me at a karaoke.
Oh, yeah, my first
Really?
my first month karaoke. My first month in Delaware,
Yeah.
straight from LA. I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and we're at this karaoke place, and everyone's just like so pretentious. And out of nowhere, this guy shows up and does Poison. Every rose has its name.
No, it was a Talk Dirty to Me.
Talk Dirty to Me by Poison. I'm like, this guy is awesome.
I got up there in my
He's
leather
making
jacket and
fun
my
of us.
long hair, and I just sang with my perfect Bret Michaels voice.
And I never thought I'd see him again. 3 days later, I'm at Guitar Center, and I look to my left. Wait, you're that guy.
Genesis, what's up, man?
Okay, long story short, I had at least 4 to 5 serendipity moments with him. I'm like, okay, fine, you're in the band.
It just kind of worked
Yeah,
out.
it worked out.
I mean, when you guys are in the studio, like, well, how is that? What's the vibe with that? Like, you pull a song out, or how is that? What does it look like?
It's like surgery. It's like everyone's very mindful,
Very focused,
very
dissected
careful,
parts, for
very,
sure.
very passionate.
Mm.
You know, like it's the last cake you're gonna eat. You know,
Oh my God.
so, and I love that about this band. Everyone in this band has the same attitude. We're very gentle with what we
won't go in
create
there
in
if
the
we're not all
studio.
on our A game. Each
You
day
know.
on that.
Yeah, we won't.
So,
Yeah.
And we push each other.
Yeah,
say.
yeah, that's-
I think
yeah.
we really push each other. We, you know, there's been times where myself or Genesis or any of us, you know, have been in the studio together, and someone's like, dude, like, really, one more take? Like, I'm ready to go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we say, dude, you got it. Come on, you got it. Let's do this. And you're like, all right, one more time. And then that's the one.
That's
Yeah.
the case.
Last session, he
Yeah.
outdid himself.
I did. I kept poor G. I kept making him do more takes. He's like, oh, I think that's the one. I'm like, nah, dude, one more. My calluses are like literally on the fingerboard. Like I ripped them all off that day.
I had to like wipe the blood off the floor. I'm kidding.
But I've had times where I've ripped fingernails and stuff actually. So
His fingernails
if
are
you
like
do come out to the show, you
the look
might
on my
see
face
me
in the
actually
interview is
bleed.
gonna be really priceless. That's some spots in the interview.
But yeah, absolutely, we absolutely push ourselves and each other.
Yeah, we do. We really push ourselves and each other. And
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Thank
Well,
you, Sam.
anything you guys want to? I mean, what do you want the records to do? Like, what did she release? What are we looking forward for?
We are looking forward for another chance of unity in music history. Whatever that is, whatever that entails, just a little bit of a nudge just makes us happy. A revolutionary, I don't know, but that'll be a blessing to be a part of that. But our job is to push that unity.
Okay.
And when I say unity, I'm talking about genre. And music is about identity. So when you go on your first date or whatever date, the third question you ask, what kind of music do you listen to? What kind of food? You know what I mean? So
Is that a rule or?
I mean, it's usually a thing. Like people ask, like if you want to get to know someone, you want to know her taste in music. You know, so
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Which one is that?
That's a common rule. I don't know about you.
I
know what you did.
Make that number 3.
All right, let's
That's question
There's
number
always a
three.
rule number 3. Third question.
That's
Are
on
we
the Mambas
sleeping
Tinder
together or
profile.
not? If you're not into Wu-Tang,
If you don't buy me, what was those martinis we
I'm
had?
not buying your
get a
roses.
pair of Cosmos.
They're Cosmo.
Dustin just needs pair Cosmos.
Oh,
I
okay.
drank like 3 of them. I don't remember it, but
Well, I enjoyed this.
Awesome.
Is there anything you guys want to talk about that I didn't ask, or do you think we covered everything?
We covered a fair base.
Covered everything. Was this entertaining?
Great.
Very much.
All right.
I like sing
Oh, man.
a bar or two.
Rawhide.
You want
Yeah.
him to sing what you?
Yeah.
A&R?
Sing something.
What are you trying to do?
You want to give a shout out to
Man,
Ken?
shout out Ken,
Yeah,
man.
You want to
shout out to
shout out
Ken.
Ken? He's
Hardest
right
working
there.
man in the business right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Drake Corbett blessing us with the video.
Hey. What's up?
And you want them to sing a couple of bars?
If they want to sing something, if you want.
Sing,
I'm hungry.
sing an acoustic song. Dustin's got his guitar. Sing a song.
Yeah,
It's not on.
You may as well.
You can't hear these songs out.
And I want to say a big shout out to Marcellus and White Lion Audio, Artillery
I played
Music
like
Group.
9,000 notes.
Right?
White Lion Audio.
White Line, Marcellus, Atkins, Dan from Philly.
Dan Kishbaugh, Panther Pro Audio.
Who else we're missing? Redman, of course.
Any Bruce,
Give a shout out to Scoob Rock, West Coast, 805. To who else? Lab Rats. Cooley High, Cool Peoples, and the Valley Boys. There you go. Here's a song about being a valley.
so 610.
Okay. Is there anybody out there? Can anyone hear you 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 out there? If you can hear me, you're not alone. Say I walk here. I fall into the air. If I save you tonight, rest of my world's gonna die. Gotta make up my mind. I wanna save you tonight. I wanna save you tonight. Yeah, don't let the wicked go. We got no time, no, we can't delay. But I want to carry on. You only got one trick that you choose from. Are you ready? Say I walk here. I fall into the air. If I save you tonight, rest of my world's gonna die. I gotta make up my mind. I wanna save you tonight. I wanna save you tonight. I wanna save you tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, little snippet. Thank you.
Gentlemen, This was powerful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Thank you.
Honor and pleasure.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Honor. Thank you.
Powerful,
Thank you, man.
powerful.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all right.
Shout out to
The latest thing
Philippines.
feels.
That was great, man.
Shout out to having the right president soon.
Ghostbuster.
Hey, well, who's about to be the next president over there, man?
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, I know.
Oh, Batman.
Pacquiao.